Welcome to the bearish trenches. Who is all these people, bro? Mute this. Cute range. I put my phone on silent, man. Shit ring every time, bro. Alright, man, what's going on in the goddamn market? Are we bearish? Are we bearish? Are we bearish? Jasmine coin to $1. What's up, Colton? GS. What's the word? What's the word, man? All right. So are we bearish? We about to talk about what's actually going on inside the market. Look at a few charts. My name is Crypto Millie. Every day I talk about crypto. You might have seen me on X doing crazy videos, but we here. Yeah, today it wouldn't even let me plug in my Kick. I don't know what's going on with Kick. I gotta redo my Kick account or something because it wouldn't let me get on Kick. But I'm not like banned or nothing on Kick. But it wouldn't let me stream on Kick. So right now I'm on Twitch, I'm on X, and I'm on YouTube. And salute to everybody that's out there. W trade on pump. W trade on pump, man. I can't even complain. W trade on pump. I kind of agree with my boy Connor though. I don't think the bottom is in. But this is so far I'm winning this trade. You know what I mean? We got in a pretty good area. We got in a pretty good area, so pump it up. Oh yeah, we got. Come on, man. All these dudes, we don't care about, bro. You see, they super been buying this up on some. I don't know what they on, but yeah, I was buying pump all the way down here, man. I don't know if this is the true reversal because they still haven't done the airdrop yet, but W trade right there on pump, man. But I'm going to agree with my guy Connor on that, right? If they do the airdrop, then it's probably gonna dump some more because y'all know how airdrops go. People get their tokens, they don't hold the tokens, they just dump the tokens. Crypto, welcome to crypto. The market though is being the market. I think the most important thing to talk about here is how we are staying ahead of our bull market bands. The only thing that is concerning, if we just go to our script here, is that we're getting sell signals across the board. Like we're literally getting sell signals on every major chart, right? You got a sell signal here on the total 3. I believe you got a sell signal on BTC. You can see BTC has confirmed bearish momentum. But hopefully in hindsight, we can, BTC can hold strength and support up here around 107. Right around 107. If it can hold 107 as support, that's a good sign that maybe we can get, if not a stock RSI reset, at least it to come retest maybe 50 and bounce off 50. But who knows, right? I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the market because of the tariffs. But we did print a sell signal. And by the way, this is the weekly chart, so this is something to pay attention to. I like to couple this with my other indicator, which is the Lux Algo Ultimate RSI. Now, if we haven't gotten across on this, in my opinion, that's still bullish. Okay, so this is why I continue to be bullish. As long as we are above this orange line on my Lux Algo Ultimate RSI indicator, in my opinion, we're bullish. This is a very powerful indicator, and as long as you're above that orange line, technically, from what I've seen with this indicator, you're bullish. Now, if we break that orange line, it is what it is. And this is Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum here. You can see Ethereum still well above the orange line. So again, this is why I continue to have a resolve with my bearish thesis that we get some sort of altcoin rally, because the major altcoins, right, have these ultimate RSI crosses on the Lux Algo, and technically they're still bullish. Now, if we look at the RSI, the stock RSI, you will see that Ethereum has not yet printed a sell signal, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. That doesn't mean that we're just going to fall off the map, right? And it's just ultimately going to a bear market, right? That doesn't mean that. That means that there is a possibility, because we are a little bit extended, but just based on historic cycle, we got about 70 days until these cycles peak. Again, you can see that we haven't had our sell signal here on the ETH, and we haven't even confirmed bearish momentum on the weekly for the stock RSI. And I just showed you the ultimate RSI. So if I pulled up the bull market bands, you would also see that this is still above the bull market band. So not yet a reason to really freak out. Yes, I understand frustration, but if we're truly looking at potentially having the catalyst of the end of QT, plus President Trump saying himself like he expects the economy to be booming in the next 5 to 6 months, are we really tripping about a correction here, or are we more focused on finding positions and getting prepared for a violent leg to the upside? And that just depends on your mindset and where you're at in crypto. If you feel like we're gonna have an altcoin season, then of course you still gonna be bullish here. If you don't feel like that shit gonna happen, or if you feel like it's over with, it's bear market's next, then of course you're not gonna be bullish here, right? You can see the ETH is clearly, these are clearly retested the top 1, 2, 3, 4 times, got rejected. So we gotta look at what we have here, right, and assess our situation, right, based on risk management and responsibility, right? And it's important to note, especially if you're new to my videos, or if you discover my videos on X and you just think I'm some type of hype man. No, that's I'm entertainer, but I like to be realistic from what I'm seeing, right? So yes, short term, it's a little frothy, but I still personally have conviction and resolve that we go higher, right? Am I saying that in the sense of we're going higher because it's the beginning of a bull market? No, we're totally at the end of this 4-year cycle. Totally at the end of it. I stand on that, right? But I don't think that this is the end. And if it is what it is. You know, we did what we can this cycle. We learned a lot. Move on to the next. But I don't know. I still got a lot of conviction and resolve. I don't know. Just chat. What y'all think? What y'all think? Yeah, so there is a what's this? What 90% chance? Why is this website been acting funny all day? By the way, let's reset it again. 42 days. So we got 42 days into the FOMC meeting. Right now, as we stand, FOMC meeting. Right now, if we stand as we stand, it's a 91% chance that we get a Fed cut. All right, they call it easing. It's not really easing, but it's a Fed cut. So, as Jerome says, we will continue to monitor the data. Let's get into some of these comments here. We got 40 people in here. ZBCN is trading sideways, which is a good sign. Yeah, yeah. Perma bull long term, definitely. I like it, Glass. It's fresh, man. Appreciate it, man. The market is certainly being the market. I agree 110%. And crypto. Well, technically, I made a video yesterday for you guys, and I gave what I would do if I had $1,000, right? If I had $1,000, how I would allocate that $1,000. And I told y'all, like, there's nothing wrong with having one gaming coin if you believe in it, especially if you're going to play the rotation game, right? If you're gonna play the rotation game, okay, you like, okay, I made 20x, 30x, 50x, whatever in this sector or this specific coin. I want to roll 5% of those profits and on a gaming coin. Just take a whiff that one of these gaming coins explode if we get some sort of altcoin season. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I want to show you guys this. Salute the Pi Gods. Got some OGs in here. This is the end. It was the most boring cycle I've been. Bitcoins and memes. It sums it up, right? ETFs and no tax on U.S. crypto still on the way. We're good. Yeah, I truly believe we do have some catalysts, right? So I want to show you guys this because, of course, we talked about this strategy, right? They're like, a lot of people want to know, they're new in crypto, and they want to know, like, well, Millie, I'm seeing these videos on YouTube. How would you allocate, $1,000 to crypto, right? And you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have this dream that they can make 100,000 in crypto, right? I want to make sure that anybody that watched this video understand that this is some highly unlikely shit, okay? But it happens. It's highly unlikely, but it happens. So it's good to have the knowledge to put yourself in the position for this to happen, right? Now, the gist of what I'm saying is I talked about, how I would allocate $1,000 to 10 coins, right? But of course, there's degens like myself that have belief in their research, have belief in the hours they commit to their computer, have belief that, hey, Millie, I can pick one coin and 10x, 10x that coin and then 10x it again, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I understand what that strategy is, right? It's called the 10x rotation strategy. Now, ignore really the narratives, right? So ignore the narratives that I have here. Ignore the niches, right? This could be any coin, right? But you're only picking one coin, right? And you're looking at this in the next 6 to 18 months. So, what I have here is a focus on what you would need to do that with one coin, right? Because a lot of people believe they can buy one coin and it can 10x, right? And they can turn $1,000 into $10,000, and that's true, right? That's true. The hard part is picking the second coin, right? Because what you're working to do is you're working to 10x to 10,000 to 100,000. That's the thing, picking the second coin, right? And according to my model, hypothetically speaking, logically, should I say, you should rotate 75% into the second coin and at least take 25% into profits, right? So technically, you would have to turn 7,500 into 100,000, right? So you would have to get a little bit more than a 10x the next time, right? Because you want to make sure you take some the initials off the table and a little bit of profit into that. So you're rotating 7,500 into the second coin, right? And I was thinking, like, okay, so how, logically, how could I do this, right? If I wanted to do this logically, how I could do it, right? First and foremost, the first 10x should be the easiest one, right? Because you don't have to get, you can find an AI coin, right? But you don't technically, in my opinion, and feel free to comment, but you don't technically have to buy something that's degen, right? Or even in the $20 to $50 million market cap range. I truly believe you can buy something at 100 million and it run to 1 billion. That's your first 10x, right? So it's a little bit of a safer investment, less volatile. And trust me, some people think like this. They think like, okay, I don't want to over dilute myself with 10 coins. I believe I can pick the right coin every time. I can get a 10x, right? You know, they boost themselves up, they get confidence. I can get a 10x, right? The secret here, right? The secret sauce here is picking the right coin the first time around and committing to it, right? So like, of course, if you pick something with a lower market cap, you're going to have a higher ceiling. So it's more likely, if it's a really, really good coin, that you'll get even more than a 10x, but at least you know, hey, if I focus on a 30x, even if I fall short, guess what I did, Millie? I locked in my 10x. So I kind of understand why my motto says maybe pick a coin with a lower market cap opposed to going something like a $100 million token, because it's like, okay, once it hit 1 billion, there's that 10x barrier that most people go through it, and tokens have to get above that, right? So most people, once they get that 10x, they're going to sell. It's going to create selling pressure, and it's like, damn, I missed it. It's going to be harder to catch it, right? So by you buying something that has a smaller market cap, it gives you more range. It gives you more range, right? And according to my motto, to kind of like limit that risk, is saying pick an AI coin initially, right? Because there's a good chance that AI coins are going to do really, really good in this next area of a rally. Bam. So you got that out the way, right? Bam. You turn your 1,000 into 10,000, right? The next stage is turning that 7,500 into 100,000, right? Like 12, 13x, whatever, right? So according to the model, it's saying pick a meme coin this time, right? Because remember, you took 25% off the table. You got 7,500. You put in 7,500. You got to make this 7,500 count, right? It's saying pick a meme coin from the range of a $50 to $100 million market cap, which is normally a sweet spot. The thing about it is, with this cycle, which is crazy, is these bubbles happen, and there's no like automatically knowing which bubble is going to hit first. Like back in the day, we already knew it was going to be ETH, and then ETH, middle caps. Now we've been having rallies where meme coins pump off first. So it's like, damn, if the meme coins pump off first, you got to be able to adjust your strategy. So you got to think about that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, none of this is like, this is all hypothetical. But yeah, the second coin is always going to be the hardest, right? The second coin is going to be the hardest, right? So now you had 100,000, and it's kind of like, who wants to be a millionaire, right? It's like, do I take, and I would love to know, chat, how y'all would handle this psychologically. So let's say we pull it off, right? We turn the 7,500 into about 110,000. You got 110,000, right? Are you going for the third 10x, or are you check it out at a dice game? Are you going for 1 milli? Are you going for the milli, or are you saying, okay, I'm locked in. I'm not even going, because remember, you putting it all into one coin. Of course, you're doing this 3 different times. Maybe you do one coin the whole time. I don't know however y'all think, right? But I'm just trying to see how much of a DJ y'all are. Like at that 110K, 100K psychological level, do you check out the game, or are you going for the third 10x? The 1,000x, right? The third 10x. So that's where a lot of people are going to bet it again and lose everything that they made. And then there's going to be some people that's going to hit it. So it's just going, that's just crazy, chats. But let me know. What would y'all do? Is you checking out at 110? Or you going for the full, you saying, fuck it, Millie, I gotta go, it's for the bloodline. You saying, fuck it, it's for the bloodline. So chat, let me know what you would do. I'll put 1K on ZVCN and it's going to 10x. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a token in my head. I feel like you can get the first one right off rip. And what do you say? I'm not really focusing on market cap. And again, I want you guys to like take that out of the aspect. I'm focusing on if you only had to pick one coin, and you that means like you have to raise your percentage of getting this 10x. With 10 coins, you got wiggle room, right? You got wiggle room, wiggle room, right? But like with one coin, you gotta get it right. You can't fuck up the first coin. You can't fuck up the first coin. So like, nah, it's gonna be more, in my opinion. In my opinion, right? I'm just going off my opinion. Even for a utility token, it's gonna have some type of hype behind it. Like there's utility tokens like Zebek, for example. XRP is one of them, and I can name many more if I missed out on one. Okay, but they have these use cases and utilities, but they also have these meme coin type of communities behind it. So like, and I also talk about this strategy, right? Like picking a meme coin with the lowest market cap that's listed on every big exchange. So let's say you go on Robinhood, right? Because Robinhood gets a lot of traffic and a lot of retail traffic when we see green bubbles, which is crazy, right? Because it's technically, right, we know, right? That's why we here, man. Salute to the chat, W in the chat. We know that we buy into the fear, right? If you have money, right? If you ain't got no money, you need to be doing, you don't even need to be watching this video. You really need to be like getting to it. But we know, right? We know. So, you know what I mean? I talked about this strategy, how you can anticipate retail by just buying these meme coins that's already listed on all the top exchanges, but the ones that have the lowest market cap. And like I said, that gives you an opportunity, because like you gotta, if you only playing with $1,000, you can't just say, oh, I'm gonna go buy something with a $30 billion market cap just because it got utility and use case. Now you gotta really like give yourself a higher ceiling, right? By taking on more risk. It is what it is. You got to take on more risk. You know what I mean? The least money that you got, right? So if you got more money, if you playing with 10K, you playing with 25K, well, yeah, you can get away with buying a project that has a $500 million market cap, a $1 billion market cap, and really get your first 10X like that, right? Or even a 7X, right? Get you close, right? If I'm betting on a 20X or a 15X, I want to fall short. If I'm betting on a 10X, if I get a 7X, I still win. So, like, I think what crypto YouTube doesn't do is when people make YouTube videos, they don't really tell you the area you need to be investing in based on your initial investment. I think that's important. That's important in investing and understanding even how market caps work. Yes, we can get a whole bunch of utility. The aliens can come from another planet and then double the dollar, US dollar, and we get a whole bunch of like capital flowing into crypto. Like, that sounds like some unrealistic shit, but many people believe that we just gonna get all this money, right? Whatever, and these large caps gonna go to trillions of dollars, whatever. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But realistically, in this cycle, we really haven't seen that, right? We really haven't seen that. So we have to be as realistic as possible, right? And I feel like those higher market caps, I think 5 to 6X is really, really good for those. But it's going to be really, 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 really hard for them to get 10Xs, man. It's going to be really, really, really hard, especially in an environment where these economies are not having any type of like capital coming in. Everything's being restricted. So it's hard for me to grasp my mind around it, right? So I'm just being honest with that. I understand we can get a lot of capital in crypto, but realistically, you want to see, you're talking about what Bitcoin already went up from 15K to 120. So Bitcoin literally did like a 10X, right? So when you put that into perspective, that should strengthen your resolve to give you an idea of that it's possible, right? Because Bitcoin did it. If you say, oh, Millie, Bitcoin has the highest market cap and it did a 10X. Well, I know something like XRP could do a 10X, or I know something like Cardano could be a 10X, or I know something like Tau can do a 10X because Bitcoin was able to achieve it. So that I understand. I understand that, and I'm not even about to argue that because Bitcoin did it with a very, very high market cap. but can multiple altcoins do it? We got to ask ourselves that. That's something I think that needs to be talked about more. What up, Wise? Hey, strategy, you have 1 million value few token. Bigger coins because you need to have that liquidity. Yeah, probably an L1, nice in profit. Yeah, that's why it's set, bruh. When I was creating that, that's the first thing I thought about Paraz. And that's why I think like betting on a layer one in that later stage or something that has a lot of liquidity is the only way you're going to be able to turn that into a milli. So you spot on, bruh. So you see what's going on. You inspired me to make that video, by the way. W's in the chat for Paraz. He inspired me to make that Pie Guys. He inspired me to make that video from his comment on my last video. I got to give him credit there. You feel like you can lock in 10x with Pudgy Penguins? Snek is a meme sleeper. Yeah, I think isn't that the #1 or #2 meme coin on Cardano? However, once you have 1 million in value, few tokens, you wouldn't want to leave them on exchanges with stop losses in place. Print some stimmy money. Like, really, if I bought a coin that did a 10x with no big listings in it, waited on a big exchange, then I'll wait for the third 10x on the exchange listen. That's actually nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Wise, like that don't get talked about enough either. Like being there, but you know what people say that, right? And it's so hard to do that in real time, man. Like people always refer to the people that bought Bitcoin at $13 and $100 and like they be, bruh, it's so hard to just say you was gonna be able to hold that entire time. Everybody's situation is different and you never know what might come up. So like salute to the people that was able to do it, but to like I don't truly believe that's an easy feature. You know, I don't think that's an easy feature. Like it takes a lot to just sit through pumps and dumps. Just imagine like Bitcoin going all the way up to 60K and you bought it at like $200-300 and sitting to the 60K to 15K, sitting through that all the way back to the 120K. That's some like, you're wired different, man. You are wired different, bro. So like, people make it seem like it's easy. It ain't easy. You likely keep your blue chips on a hard wall and occasionally swing trade. I believe that this cycle is more trader strategic. The easiest way to pick cult memes and believe into something. You feel like Doge can do an easy 10x? 1K into 60 million? Yeah, he did, man. But he bought Shiba Inu at a very, very, very low price. I think it was like 1,700. He turned 1,700. But he bought Shiba Inu at a very, very low price. It wasn't listed on the exchanges. It wasn't none of that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, add context to that, right? Because he bought Shiba Inu at a very, 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 very low market cap before it was listed on any of those exchanges and everything. And like Wise was saying, he bought it at a very low market cap and he held it through all of those listings. He held it through all of those listings. See, he was wired different. He was just holding through all of those listings, right? So like, it wasn't like he bought a coin off crypto.com exchange and he turned 1K into 60 million. That's the point of the videos that I'm making. You know what I mean? He didn't buy a crypto.com exchange token, but people will come and see that and think that they can buy a crypto.com exchange token, put 1K on it and turn it into 60 million or even 1 million. So he got that on chain before it was listed on exchanges. Think about those coins sitting through the ups and downs. The good show would be to do your first M in crypto for those that have been here a few cycles but not sophisticated investors just did well buying and cheers. Man, you can't really let people know like what you doing in crypto, like as far as like getting money in crypto, bro. Like crypto has changed, bro. Back then you could do that, but like it's way different now, man. Like, you know, it's not even safe to tell people you do crypto. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it done the whole game done changed. So like, you know what I mean? Nah, bro. You know, I respect that. I respect that at all. And if anybody that's doing it, but it's just like, Crypto can be a little bit crazy, so you gotta protect yourself like in all fashions. I bought Doge in 2017. Everyone here has water sheet first week I sold for 6x. We were new to memes. You have to realize this. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a perfect example. Like you got into it early, but you thought like a 6x was good. You like shit. You probably never thought it was gonna go all the way up like where it went to, right? But at the time, a 6x made sense to you. That's exactly what I mean. It's like everybody mentality ain't gonna be able to hold something from $1,700 to 60 million. Like that takes a lot of kahunas, like really betting on yourself, and most importantly, the elephant in the room, a consistent income, right? You gotta already have some shit coming in, you good, where you ain't gotta worry about that money, right? You letting it sit, you letting it grow, you letting it, appreciate over time. You know what I'm saying? But everybody in crypto these days be acting like they press for money. Like soon as they get a 2x, they already trying to sell. They get a 1.5x, they out. Like, you know what I mean? So like, hopefully we can get back to the believe in something stage of crypto, but it just hasn't been that so far in this cycle. W's in the chat to everybody that's out here, to 59 people. Make sure that you like and subscribe. My name is Crypto Millie. Every day I talk about crypto. I got Pepe from XC and still holding. Salute to UGS. Diamond hands. Tao is probably going to be one of the ones we talking about. I think Tao is a multiple cycle holder, but I mean, Tao, when you look at some of the things, the evaluations of some of this decentralized entities that are competitors to Tao, it's like, how the fuck can Tao not be $100 billion? How can Tao not be $100 billion? And then you think about the flywheel effect that what led to Virtual's price appreciating or Solana's price appreciation. It was having runners within the ecosystem. So how I look at it is, if we can get 3 runners to run to a billion, or at least 100 to a billion, 500 million, get 1 to 5 runners that's all in the range of 100 million and higher, I can really see the appreciation of Tau just itself at least sitting at, you know what I mean? Where is it right now? Like at least sitting at 10x from where it is right now. At least sitting at 10x from where it is right now, right? Like, why can't Tau be worth $100 billion in an environment, in a area of the biggest wealth transfer of all time and the biggest niche of all time, which is artificial intelligence? We know artificial intelligence is going to be here for sure for the next 10 years. Via something crazy happen, Black Swan, or some crazy law comes down and regulation on AI. But outside of that, AI is kind of like 80% book stamped a good investment for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? So like, why can't Tau be 100 billion? You know what I mean? That's that. The way that the tokenomics, the scarcity set up, the how is like, it makes sense, and it's in the area that's supposedly supposed to pick up the most capital, which is artificial intelligence. That's how I look at it. It's super hard to hold, bro. Yeah, gotta protect you. It's easy to hold as long as you're up, old buddy. Yeah, exactly, darling. As long as you got a personal bag that's not in crypto and you can live off and you can handle everyday responsibilities, and you got an emergency account set up for anything that might be emergency, you don't really think about your crypto, right? You really don't. I know for sure there's people that I know personally that got money in crypto that, because of their real jobs, they not like full-time Web3 where I gotta always check the fucking charts. I always look, you know what I'm saying? They got real shit going on, right? They handle their crypto portfolio just like they stock portfolio. They come back, check it, but they not buying, shitcoin Inu. You know what I mean? They not buying shitcoin Inu. They holding like XRP, Bitcoin, ETH. You know what I mean? Shit like that. I tried leverage trading in competition, thinking I would learn quick. I did lose 1K. Oh man, prayers up, Michael. We all been there, Mike. Yeah, man. I'm not really a leverage person, but I do mess with the perps on Solana, and it's been okay. Hey, appreciate that, Dylan. Towers, yeah, man, I'm just chilling right now, man. But yeah, I wanted to point out that, yeah, there is a strategy. I think, again, Pi Gods was the one that inspired me to actually talk about this. And I was going to make a video of it, but I was like, fuck it, let's just go on a live stream and talk about it, right? But yeah, there is a world where you'll see a lot of people do this strategy, right? Opposed to having 7 or 8 different coins, right? They'll just buy one coin and they'll just 10x that bitch 3 times. Mostly people can get 2 times. I mean, the first one, like I said, the first 10x um is usually the easiest one. What happens is the next 10x, right? The next 10x, and if you got big kahunas and try to go for the third 10x, this is the one that's really gonna, you know what I mean, take everything to that generational stratosphere. So again, it's up to you. Whatever you like doing. I've seen people buy 5 or 6 coins and have a very successful portfolio, and I've also seen people buy 1 or 2 coins and just, you know, rotate based off conviction. So, it just really depends on what type of investor that you are. That's why this is not financial advice. You pick what you want to pick and you go from there. You know what I mean? But just like I said, have an understanding of what you hold. Don't just like go watch a video and be like, oh, these are good coins. Like, nah, just, really, really, really focus on what you hold, and especially in this stage of the cycle, right? It's important, guys. It's important, ladies and gentlemen. It is important that you don't try to wing it in this stage of the cycle, right? But if you want to do that, that's on you, right? I'm not doing it, right? You can do what you want to do. If you can pull that off, look, salute, bro. I'm no hater. Like, I want to see everybody be successful. I'm not personally winging it. I'm going with what I know, what's been showing strength, and I'm trusting my research and conviction. And I think that you do well, right? But all of this is a casino, bro. You know how crypto is. It's all a casino. It's no guarantees and none of this. It's all a casino. Again, we'll continue to monitor the data outside of the tariff news and what's going on with POW and then India and Russia and Ukraine. There's not much news other than that, right? Just multiple sell signals across the board. But I think that these are bullish sell signals, right? I believe if we can hold our support and we can get resets on these RSI, then we're only going to, put in a higher low and start to continue the trend to the upside. So that's that. That's all I got, guys. I'm not going to hold you up too long. It's really, really a boring day. Hopefully I was, very entertaining. I had to come, like, this is like the third video today, so I already did 2 videos, so I don't really got to do too much talking. Let's see what the chat's talking, and then I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to let y'all go about y'all day. Appreciate you, darling. At least one towel, yeah. Millie, the crazy thing is, I think Shiba Inu can still do that now. Oh, you think Shiba Inu can do what it did then? Hey, Ben, I want to break your resolve, bro. If technically I don't agree, right? But that doesn't matter what I think, right? How I feel is that there's a lot of meme coins. If you're going for a 100x, I think you got a better chance of picking something in the 10 to $50 million range, opposed to picking Shiba Inu. I personally don't see a 100x for Shiba Inu. I just don't see that. I don't see that, right? If that's what you believe, I don't want to deter your belief. I can't see that, right? I would bet on something, like I said, around 10 million to 50 million if you want to keep it high ceiling, but not that much risk. If you're going to take on risk and you want to go DGen, 1 to 10 million. And there's a lot of sleepers in really, really good communities in the $1 to $10 million range, but you have to accept the risk that you're taking on. You got to accept the risk that you're taking on. 10x. Oh, okay. You saying not in one setting. You saying it can 10x? That's possible. I think that's possible. Different type of investor, different strokes, different folks. Definitely. Long-term holder type investor, value investor. It's nothing wrong with that, though. I think that when we look at crypto from the grand scheme of things, it's in its infant stage. And I've talked about this before. Just look at Bitcoin's market cap and compare it to gold and all of the legacy assets, right? Compare it to any sector. Bitcoin is still undervalued, and it's sitting at $2.2 trillion. So if we look at that and we say, well, hey, if Bitcoin is still undervalued compared to something like physical gold or these other legacy assets that are 10 trillion or higher, how will some of our altcoins like Tau look when Bitcoin is sitting at a $10 trillion market cap? You get what I'm saying? So like, even though I like to be realistic in a world of like straight moon boy mentality, our altcoins would probably be the good ones, right? Not everyone. The fucking good ones, right? The really, really good ones will probably be very inflated if Bitcoin sits at a $10 trillion market cap and reaches some of these legacy assets. So like, I can never demotivate anybody, because who's to say that can't happen, right? Who's to say that can't happen, right? Of course, I'm talking about multiple cycles, right? We're 10 trillion. We're probably looking at 2030. You know, I'm gonna be having gray hair. You know what I mean? With a cane. Nah, I said, well, I have gray hair by then. Nah. But yeah, 2030. You know, somebody asked me, where do I think Tau price will be by 2032? I was like, what? But yeah, like, so if Bitcoin, you know, 2030 sitting at $10 trillion market cap, then the altcoins that make it are gonna be really valued really high. Really high, right? They're gonna be really high. They're gonna be 100 billion, $500 billion market cap type shit. They're gonna be a value really high. So, but that might take us a couple cycles to get there. I'm definitely not about to hit y'all with the TikTok sauce and tell y'all it's about to happen this cycle. I'm definitely not about to do that. What happened? Meme board just cut off. No risk, no Rari. Raris and Rovers. What's good? I'm on your TV. Appreciate that, man. Raris and Rovers. All right, so I'm about to get up out of here. It is what it is. Research. Don't let this dip like throw y'all off, man. Don't let this dip throw y'all off. Trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me. But nah, don't let this dip throw y'all off. Stay focused. We got sell signals across the chart on the total 3, Bitcoin, and the total cryptocurrency market cap. So I think a correction is normal. But I don't think this is the correction that starts off the bear market. I hope it's not. All right, that it would be awful if this is the correction that starts off a bear market. I hope not. Right? I hope not. I hope not. But I'm leaning towards the trend will continue to the upside. That's what I believe in. I believe the trend will continue to the upside. Bearish week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe we correct a little bit. It's okay, man. We went up for like 2-3 weeks. Let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. But I wouldn't get shooken out the market. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet, man. Not yet. Trillions of dollars about to flood the system. Big, beautiful bill. Yeah, and specifically, a lot of that is going into the AI and tech sector. So let the word to the wise be efficient.